All right, Jaivion, Ivan, and Trevor. Talk to me about the leading up to Sincere's first debut fight.
Is that again?
The first debut fight for Sincere. What were your thoughts on it?
We going to weed plant out here.
No, I got you.
What was my thoughts on the lead up?
Yeah.
I knew he was ready. I really didn't have no thoughts. I'm always calm, cool, and collected. I knew he was ready. I didn't overthink nothing. I'm never. It's another day to me. It's another day to me. I wasn't nervous. I knew he was ready. He'd been ready since before the pandemic. They were supposed to fight a week after the whole shutdown went down there and shut off borders. So he was already ready 4 months ago. So I knew.
We had a bunch of work.
Yeah, we had tons of work.
It's not like
rollers, his fighters. You know, we got tons of work in here, and I just seen a real focus in him that I haven't seen before in the amateurs. In the amateurs, he would struggle with making weight. Like he would literally be fighting at, I'm just gonna give away at 154, and he'd be 158. Weight time come in, he went up another pound. You know, he had problems all his amateur career with weight. You know, I don't care. We put plastic bags on. I don't know what he was doing on the flip side. We were making him make weight and drained him down, but I don't know what he was doing on the flip side. But this was a different focus in him that I didn't have to say nothing about weight. He ate right. He ran. He went home early to go to bed. He was focused, locked in and focused out. I've never seen him before.
It's different too with the kid when kids have been fighting for a long time. Remember, Sincere debuted at 16, so he's been fighting since he was probably 9. You know, so there's some burnout that goes along with that, especially in the amateurs. So he makes a decision that he's going to debut at 16. We had an incredible amount of work that he's working with. We had, you know, like Ivan said, we had Manny Robles that was here. We had other prospects that are coming out of the amateurs that have already turned that he had a chance to work with. And obviously, Ivan and I both saw something that we had a belief immediately and knew that he'd had a good showing and that it was time for him to turn. And I will say this, out of all the debuts that I've been around and that I've had the opportunity to work with, you know, he was the most mature debut that I've ever dealt with. He really looked polished. He had an invaluable experience in there, and he got to build up the rounds and show different things that Sincere can do. And it's real exciting, and we got him up for the next 5 weeks. So we're not letting the grass grow on our feet. We're gonna get him back to work, and you know, we see something. We had great feedback from people that know Sincere for 6 or 7 years. That said to us, you know, man, he really looked the part. He looked professional.
And Jaivion, you had the opportunity to spar with Sincere. Talk to me about what you saw in the ring when he was fighting his debut.
Every day we spar. You know, it be times where I think I have him figured out, and he'll give me a new look, and I'm like, all right, now I gotta adapt to that. Then next day he'll give me another look. All right, I gotta adapt to that. You know, it's just different looks he can give you, and then with a fighter like that, you know, it's just you never know what he can do. You know what I'm saying? And for him to have his pro debut at 16 years old, it was just that much more amazing. You know what I'm saying? And then starting off, you know, I've known Sincere since he was 9 years old. I was actually the first person who taught him even how to throw a punch, you know what I'm saying? So to see his progress, to see his success at this young, you know, the sky's the limit, you know what I'm saying? So, and like Ivan said, his focus, you know, when he was 9 years old, when he was in the amateurs, I would have to walk all the way to his house just to drag him to the gym, you know what I'm saying? Just to drag him all the way to the gym. But now it's like, in the morning, he'd hit me up, like, are you on your way? You on your way to come pick me up? Like, he'll come ride with me early in the morning. I have classes that I train. So he'll come ride with me early in the morning, and, you know, he'll get his stuff ready, shadow box, warm up a little bit, then it's when it's our time to go, he warmed up and ready. So it's you can't teach that, you know what I'm saying? So
And one of the things you can't teach is being out of your comfort zone. I did talk to Sincere, and he was talking about this was his first time going to Mexico. What was one of the things that you told him to get out of his comfort zone, to make him feel comfortable? Like, you know what, you're in a different country, but you actually belong because you're stepping inside of the ring.
I mean, with me, I mean, listen, Sincere, I can't. It was just such a good flow of the camp. It wasn't. It was here at Jackrabbit. It was here with Ivan, myself, Jaivion. There's so many different people. There's Daniel. There's Zoe. It's not like you might just see him and I right here as the faces, but like this is really the family affair. So with him, by the time we got to Mexico, obviously he's never been out of the country, or he's been out of the country, never been to Mexico for a professional debut. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I like dealing with other debuts. The man really, to me, I felt like, hey, this is destiny. This is God's work. This is something that doesn't that is real. This is this young man's path to make history in boxing. I mean, there's not a lot of fighters out there that are debuting at 16. I know we've seen it with Devin Haney. We might see it here and there, but he's an anomaly himself. He's still within a very small pack, and even being out in Mexico, certain times when it was fight time, I'd had a conversation with Ivan earlier. Ivan had me warming him up, and I couldn't really calm him down. But Ivan's got this, Ivan's like a father to Sincere. Ivan went there and worked with Sincere, and I was almost hyping you up. Like I was like, there you go, feel yourself, baby, feel yourself. Just watching Ivan work with Sincere. He's building. I see him getting relaxed. I see him acting like himself, the young man that he is in the ring, and right there I know, okay, he's on. Start working with him there, and that's because of the relationship that they have. Little things, and he sat down afterwards. I said, Sincere, make sure you build on your looks. Make sure that you're building off the things that you're doing, and it just all came to fruition, and it happened. So, I think he did incredible in Mexico. So, there was nothing I really had to tell him specifically because, man, he was acting like a guy that's already a prospect.
It was more, it was more not about telling him, and relaxing him, but more about the environment. It wasn't like he was out there by himself, like Trevor said. He had his whole family of boxers out there. Zoe, Frederick, Alex, they came. Their mom was sketchy on them coming because of the, coronavirus, and they kind of scared, but they said they gotta be there. They said, that's my brother, I gotta be there. So it was more about the environment. Other people came too, Jared, so on and so forth, Bill. So even if they couldn't see the fight, they didn't even know if they could actually see the fight, but they wanted to be there that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday just to know that he was at home in Mexico.
It's a
he was
regular
at
day.
home because he brought his home there. So I think that calmed him down a little bit even more. It wasn't he was out there with just me or just me and Trevor. He had a whole group. He had his family. So they made him calm. We had a 4-bedroom condo. We all stayed in there.
We had ocean view.
We had an ocean view. We joking, laughing,
good
eating
food,
together.
water, playing.
Yeah, nothing changed from what we do in here, out there. And I think that's
Manuel's story too. Something about Ivan and I, we always discuss, which is like, what do you say? If you look right,
you look good. In
feel-
football, I
yeah,
always
you look
thought
good,
you
feel
look good, you feel good, you play good, and not convert it over to boxing.
Yeah.
You look good, makes you feel good, makes you fight good.
And Manny Stewart used to talk about that
For real?
Manny used to tell his fighters, I want you to have special white shoes on or flare when you show up. I don't want you in all black. The reason I bring it up is that Sincere's whole demeanor, when Sincere got his trunks on and he had a poncho on with he had his glasses and a hat. He became king. He became a king. His whole demeanor was the switch had gone on, and I've heard Deontay Wilder talk about it. We've heard Emmanuel Stewart talk about it. A lot of fighters talk about it, but to get it, that when the lights are on, that this is when you go completely into character, that you're 110% focused, and that it's on, and to actually see it come to a young man in their first fight, which I'll be honest with you, most debuts I see, they look like shit, and that's just keeping it 100. Now, you're not going to tear them down because that's their debut, but to really see this young man be able to display his skills and build up the rounds and get the stoppage and the way that he went about it, we're excited about having him back there immediately in the next five weeks. Jaivion is having his debut in 5 weeks. He's focused. There's a lot of focus, motherfuckers here. If they don't know our names, you better get to know us because we're coming after you. You got my word, and I'm looking to see you in that other corner. So, and your fighter.
I wanted to.
Trevor got a bone to pick.
Seriously.
Put the stake in the.
Yeah. This question applies to all three of you, but Jaivion, there had to be a moment when you were sparring with Sincere that you know what, he's ready.
Oh yeah, definitely, for sure. Honestly, Sincere's I honestly been grooming me, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? He gave like.
That's funny because you helped me train him at the beginning. So
Yeah. I helped Ivan train him at the beginning, and now it's like I got Sincere. Like it be times when we'll spar, and I go back Sincere. Hey man, when you hit me with that punch, like what did you see? Like how did you know to throw that? You know what I'm saying? So it's just little things that I done seen him pick up and grasp over the years. That it's kind of like he's starting to elevate, and then it's getting hard to keep up with it. I did like I had time where I took years off, but even then, I was still, familiar with the sport. I always stayed on, So, and when I seen him elevate, like the very first week back here, I seen his success. I seen his progression. I'm just like, oh man, like it was inspiring. You know what I'm saying? I admired him, and it just made me that much more hungry. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, okay, I see this guy. I started off with me and Ivan planted this seed. You know what I'm saying? And just to see him grow and blossom, it's like you never know what else you can do. You know what I'm saying? So that's why once I got back in here, I locked in, and like now it's just like we push each other. It's iron to sharpen iron. Like it's a chess match when I get in there with Sincere. Like I got to be on my P's and Q's with Sincere. If I'm slipping, he gonna correct me on it. So I mean, and vice versa. It's always good work every time we get in the ring. So.
What threw me off on Saturday, I didn't know this, that he was 16 years old. I didn't know that until Saturday.
People forget that Sincere is 16.
Yeah.
You see him sparring guys. You see him sparring guys that are signed to Top Rank, or you see him sparring guys that are signed to other local promoters and handling. And it's not like not to throw anybody's names out there, but I would not blame. But when you see that and you know that he's dealing with a 22-year-old or 23-year-old or 21-year-old, and you know that person might be, has a lot of national accolades and so forth, and not
even
that
an ex-champion,
an ex-champion, yeah. So there's something. We're not going to just turn any 16-year-old, pro.
Yeah.
If we're turning the 16-year-old pro, it's because he has what it takes, and we brought him to deep water already, with somebody that was a veteran or someone that exactly knows how to fight. And with Sincere, man, I will say this: he's only 16. There's no doubt, and I say this with all seriousness because I personally just don't give a fuck. I can't, because I just love being right. There's no doubt I'm going to have a lot of world champions. Ivan's going to have a lot. The Jackrabbit team is going to be world champions.
You think so?
Yeah, no, I know so. So, we're on that way. He was a debut. Ashton is we still don't know what we're going to do with him, but he's in the mix. Obviously, he's an incredible talent. Jaivion, people don't know who this young man is. Let me tell you, he is a problem. He's 6'5" and
he done preserved himself for 4 years.
Athlete,
went playing track,
ran track, got great wind. If he's been in there with who was the Russian?
Denis Lebedev.
Yeah, Lebedev, who was obviously fought Klitschko and so forth. He's been in there with a lot of names himself. There's a reason we're debuting him, and we ain't fucking around over here. We're looking to make history. We're on our way making history.
Chris, is this a PG channel?
So,
no, I'm just because I know Trevor. That's why this is deeper.
Keep going.
Oh, okay.
That's all right though. That's all right.
So,
yeah, I was 180 at the time when I sparred Denis Lebedev. He was like a good 230. Yes, and I handled my own when I got in there with him. So, and it was a learning experience as well. That was like one of the top-notch, like high-class level pros. That first high-class level pro that I sparred. I sparred with pros before, but like of that caliber, that was the first for me.
Another ex-world champion.
Yeah, and the ex-world champion. You know what I'm saying? So,
another guy that's made a career.
Yeah.
So.
How did Sincere took it when he first got in the weigh-ins and then he faced his opponent? what were you feeling with Sincere during that moment? Him doing the weight.
It just felt like he was ready to eat. It's like he was ready to eat. He was ready for it to get over with. He wanted to have him some tacos, some pancakes, some steaks. That boy was eating everything. He seemed like
and
he
it
was
his demeanor too. Yeah. Some fighters, when you see them do a face-off and it's their first face-off, you can't always assume that they've watched other fighters face off in the debut. With Sincere, he literally he took the right side. He took his natural side. He looked down at the man. You can already sort of see Sincere looking through his soul, and he gets it. Sincere gets it, and it's also to know if anybody that's been around here. I always call it the yin and the yang between Ivan and I. I might seem like. This is Papa Bear and I'm Mama Bear. It might seem like, but he'll bring the dog out of anybody. Sometimes I'll have to nurture them, but if they acting like they're going soft on me, I'm like, oh no, we ain't doing that either. So Sincere's been brought up for this is his father. I mean, that's to keep it 100, and we're all family here, but he's been brought up a certain way. He knew exactly how to jump into character with that young man. And then one thing I will say about a lot of Mexico opponents, I could see this opponent trying to get his shit done. I could see him trying to catch and counter. I could see him trying to inch forward. I could even see him trying to pressure. But when he was getting overwhelmed by the jab, he's getting overwhelmed by a bunch of different looks, by a bunch of different angles, by Sincere knowing his distance. And it was a wrap. And you can also see the man lose his soul.
That's what I want to talk about. He looked like the mental game from the other fighter just lost it with the jab. Like, there's nothing I could do.
It was perfect timing, too.
Midway, I say midway through the second round, his soul was gone. That jab, Sincere, I told Sincere, we was drilling the bag. What I tell y'all, drill it through the bag. Drill it through their fucking skull. Sincere
take up that space, too.
I told him before the fight, I said, round one, take his soul with the jab. Take his soul with the jab. That's what he did. The guy, like you said, he was coming.
You can see
he wasn't a slouch.
He didn't give up on himself until the end of the second round. You could see like where they go back to the corners. In a pro fight or amateur fight, the corner's going to build them back up. Come on, go out there, yada yada yada, let your shit go. Sincere immediately got on his jab. Ivan had basically, said, hey, he had hurt him on the top and then we were sitting there. Ivan
hurt him in the second round, let him off the hand.
Ivan called him. He said, step to him. And then it was almost in unison. In stereo, we're both saying, Sincere, step to him, collapse the distance, get close to him, let your shit go. And immediately when he let his shit go, when he let it go with so many bad intentions that when the ref jumped in to stop it, the ref almost caught a right hand himself over the top. And it was a good stoppage. And it's also another thing to say too that when you see, man, he was getting beaten up by the jab so bad and picked apart with the body shots and the way that Sincere was putting shit together. I really, just being honest, I seen the young man trying to get his shit off, but he really just couldn't find his distance. And I only seen maybe one shot land when Sincere collapsed the distance and didn't stay tight and let another shot go off of the other shot that he let go. But I mean, it's something to be out in a professional shot and only know that you really got one through. So it was going to happen. But it was beautiful because I tell you, the dilemma of any professional trainer is that when you get your guy out underneath the lights and he just knocks him out immediately, is you want them to have a learning experience and just to see him break him down from beginning to end and the way that he went about it. And even his step off, when he stepped up on that.
Yeah, that was our sole purpose.
Yeah.
Like, Sincere could have went out there with his power that we know he had.
And
overwhelmed him in the first round. Looked pretty sloppy, overwhelmed him, and knocked it and got him out of there.
Didn't want that.
Yeah, we want to see his skills. We wanted him to build off looks. We wanted him to work his jab. We wanted him to learn how to strategically break a fighter down and get him out of there, and not just use your brute strength and overwhelm him and get him out of there. So he did a great job.
They know. That's when I interviewed him.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you something that I haven't told Sincere yet. But the announcer for the show walked over to me and he said, I announced Devin Haney's show when he debuted at 16 years old. He looks better than Devin did. And as is in his debut. And when he said that to me, I was like, but you know what? I remember, I respect him and he's a fighter. Shit, I think he's an incredible fighter. I'm excited about everything that's in front of him and all those matches. Shit, I'm glued about the possibility of Javante and all these guys. Obviously, Ryan and a whole bunch of other people. But when I had heard that, I really wanted to be like, yeah, what I saw, what we even talked about it afterwards was
he looked like he had 10 fights.
He looked like he had 10
Calm,
fights.
cool, collected, picked his shots,
listening
listen to everything.
on his shit.
Yeah.
So
What was Sincere telling you in between rounds?
He wasn't telling you, he was
He wasn't telling you, he was just
locked
listening?
in. Like just nodding his head, locked in. Like I said, it was a focus that I haven't seen.
Yeah.
He grew up. It's a focus I haven't seen in the amateurs. Like Sincere in the amateurs, Sincere looked great.
he hit and miss.
Yeah.
And
he
we all
looked
worried
great.
about it. And then,
Sincere looked great the first round. Beat this dude, but looked good the second round.
And they kinda
go out
get-
and
get-
shit in the
yeah.
middle of the floor the third round. Like he won't do nothing. Remember he used to do that all the time?
when he fought in Compton, although he won, we were so mad at him because of the look of it. And just saying, hey, it doesn't look
He was gunning for the knockout.
because we want him. Obviously, even at that time when he was still probably only 14, we're always thinking about when these athletes go, when our fighters go professional, and knowing that you can get yourself in trouble once you put on them small gloves. But it was so crazy because they seen it. He won the show at Compton, but from the outsider's point of view, you see him and I, we was. Man, we was ripping him a new one. We was in his shit. I mean, we're just pissed off. A part of us, and at least me, I don't want to speak for Ivan's part, I was worried that he would revert because he looked incredible in Oxnard too. The last time he had when at the U.S. Olympic qualifiers, he looked incredible in that. But what was crazy to me is Sincere looked the best I ever seen him in his debut.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about just polished, professional, staying poised. Didn't have no weird bullshit going on, listening, doing his shit, testing, going about his processes, going about the way that he builds momentum as a fighter, and couldn't be happier. Jaivion gonna go up there, he got one up him though. So,
One of the things that I did tell Sincere is that whatever goal you have leading up to whatever you want to do, you have to sacrifice something as far as the distractions as well too. Do you see anything around that with Sincere, like what he needs to probably focus on with the distractions around him?
No, I think the motherfucker's locked in, man. I think. Listen. He's another one. He's 6'1". He's 140, and I'm gonna tell you something. I think he can make 135. He was.
Sincere 6'2".
He's
And he's still
6'2".
growing.
Yeah, and he's still growing.
And he's still growing.
He's
taller than me.
He's 16. It's crazy because it's easy to look at Sincere debuting at 16, but I got emotional when he won. I did. I was gonna cry because I seen this kid that I see greatness in, and then I see him lose it sometimes at focus, and he got all these things going on the peripheral, and there's so much belief that goes in, and then to see not just that, we've been seeing Sincere grow as a man for the last year. And then when we finally we brought a young man to a debut, this is his man moment, and to see him handle it as a man, I guarantee that by the time this dude is 20, 21, he's gonna have a belt, and then motherfuckers should take notice because he's gonna have it for a decade, and he's gonna go after a couple different weight classes. He's a problem. He's 6'2", that weight. He's gonna grow into even bigger. And he's got a temperament, and he's got a poise, and we got a killer. And he ain't the only one. So.
I mentioned this to you. I remember I said this to you, Trevor, and you could try to acknowledge it too, Ivan. In baseball terms, like one of the best teams that has like the best academy, like as far as their the roster is the Dodgers. They have a great farm system where they build up great baseball players. That's what I see over here at Jackrabbit Boxing. Right? Why is it that you guys are able to build these type of fighters? What separates your gym compared to the other ones?
I don't focus on other gyms, so I don't know what's going on. I'm not in competition. We're not in competition with other gyms. We're in competition with ourselves to get our fighters better and better, and to learn as coaches. Each day we learn from each other. We learn from different. We haven't capped ourselves, and that's why I think it is that helps our fighters.
Our
We're
ego too.
Yeah, we check our ego. Our ego stay out here.
I'm saying some egotistical shit, but it's based on the fact that like I know that our heart and soul, there's so much passion into this shit. There's so much shit that we give to ourselves in order for this to come along to where it's at. So when I'm saying that we're going to do this, it's also knowing that like Ivan and I don't operate out of ego. We operate out of ego under this idea that we are preparing so much that we're not leaving any stone unturned. That we're committing ourselves to this, and then also too that when we're looking at a young man, there's so many different things. Like I said, Ivan could be working on him on physical touches, how to really break a body down, how to hurt somebody. I might come in on some psychological stuff on how to make that man think that you're not to tell too much of our process, but more or less how to deceive a man, or even play possum here, or even sometimes be bigger than who you are. So there's a lot of things that go into this whole thing, and we also know Ivan and I both come from, I think, backgrounds that are analytical. So, that being said, there were listen, boxing's archaic compared to other sports. That's just being 100%. You got guys in the NFL that are arguing over the smallest step for defensive linemen. You got guys that are arguing with the receivers that got them on film, that are doing film studies about when their hand should come up and when it shouldn't come up. And so when we're looking at boxing, we basically, especially with Ivan's background, Ivan being an athlete as he was as a football player, everybody in his family has been athletes. They've all been standouts. And you're talking about from an area like that has Long Beach Poly, that's had the most professional football players at any school, or just even this area overall. It was like we wanted to take that and say, hey, we're going to apply that. I was lucky enough to work with Jesse Reed, who had 23 world champions, and lucky enough to work with Joe Goosen, at 17 world champion. And I'm going to keep it 100 because I don't care, because I'm building my own legacy. We're building our own legacy over here. I've seen shortcomings in them, and when I met up with Ivan had the shit like that they didn't have, and they had 23 world champions, or they had 17 world champions. I'm going on record with it, and where Ivan was with his consciousness, and where I was with my consciousness, and where I was filming with drills and he was filming with drills, I was thinking like, hey man, I'm not just gonna let a dude fight for 9 to 13 years so that they can get better. We're gonna sync up. We'll do a gang of drills. We're gonna analyze them. We're gonna pick you apart if we see something's wrong. We're literally gonna just nitpick the shit out of you where you wanna. Even when Jaivion today, I was working with him, I could see him get frustrated, but I'm not worried about it being down today in the gym. I'm not even worried about it being down in Tijuana. I'm knowing when he has it, it's gonna be in his career, and he's gonna be able to do what he wants to do and stop someone. So we really just we have a special chemistry here and it just is a whole lot of things that are in motion. And I know it sounds arrogant to say, well, if you work with a guy that had 23 world champions or another guy that had 17 world champions, I'm telling you that I believe wholeheartedly that we're going to do better on our legacy. And that's just keeping it 100.
What have you talked to Sincere, Ivan, and Trevor as far as improvement after this fight? Is there anything that you could take away? You know what? We need to chop up this and try to fix this and that, or?
Yeah, I haven't rewatched the tape. I have to, before I really break it down, I watched the tape probably like 30 times, But just initially off the game, he did a lot of things good. But what he could improve on, like collapsing the distance a little bit more when he got him hurt. He hurt him a few times. He was so patient that he let him survive. You gotta stay tight. He inside, instead of catching and countering, he went to bang for bang with him a couple times, probably 2 times. That macho-ness. You got to scale that macho-ness back in the fight. So that's.
Yeah. Well, I think we talked about it today when we first came in. It was like one of the first things that we had a conversation. We worked hard over the weekend, and the whole lead up to camp is a big decompression after you have your fight, a fighter fight. You guys let loose, but little things. Everything Ivan said, the other thing that I can think of, and this is kind of free game, sometimes a good jab can be your own worst enemy. He was jabbing him so hard to death that, where you pushing a man back, you're pushing a man back. Sometimes it's hard to get him back within your distance and be able to whip over on top or whip another shot. So sometimes you're pushing him back, you might want to just throw that jab away now,
Yeah, throw
and
away,
then
yeah.
and then step over on the side so you can get closer and let your hands go in combination. But this is, man, I really give the dude. You know, obviously we just strive for perfection. I give the guy a solid A. But yeah, no, we're happy with him. But man, we got so many of them cooking in here. You know, this is really Ivan's fighter that he works with a lot. This is really his you know, I chime in here and there, but Alex, Alex, and you know, he won the Olympic qualifiers. Alex is 14 or 15 now.
That's 15.
Yeah, but I mean, he's just another guy. I can't.
I know him. I haven't talked to him, and I don't even talk to him. I just watch. I just watch.
Yeah. Alex is in.
I can see it already.
There's a lot of kids in here, man. You know, we got a kid from Nemo Williams out here. We got you know, we got Justin Louisi out here.
Louisi.
Yeah, he over here. We got a lot of dudes that we're working with, and our intention is to make waves with them in every way. So, you know, if you're watching this video, and whether
We got
you're
ex-pro Ricky coming back.
yeah, we got Ricky coming back. So it's come out here, man. We're not fucking around. So,
What have you told to Sincere Jaivion after the pro debut? What were your first words when you seen him?
I'm proud of you.
yeah,
This is everything you deserve, you know what I'm saying? He's been doing this since he was young, and he always stuck with it. So it's like everything he invested at that age is going to show now. At a young age, he invested it, and he's having success at a young age already. You know what I'm saying? The sky's the limit. Like I said before, he can go really far in the sport. You're gonna mention his name with one of the greats a few years, like 20 years from now. You know what I'm saying? So it's just he gonna, as long as he stay down, keep pushing, he's gonna go. Imagine, like, I can't imagine how far he'll go.
You guys have any final words for Sincere, or just in general, about what transpired on Saturday?
yeah, I'm excited to see you at 20, 25, 30, and 35 years old.
Yeah.
You're gonna be, you know, it's just the beginning, baby.
I'm excited to get that first world title.
Yeah.
He gonna act nuts.
Yeah,
So-
to me, it's good news just because, like, this is the second half of the year. You know what I mean? Like, all that what's been going on the past 6 months, and this is how you want to start the first month of the second half, especially with this calendar. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting what happens with Sincere. So he's gonna be fighting soon.
We got 3 fighters up August 29th. Jaivion is up. Nehemiah Williams from Brooklyn is here with us in the house, and Sincere will be fighting again, and Jared too.
Jared
Jared gets his ass in the gym, and you know, it's possible Ricky. We're gonna try to see if Ricky can't be up, but for sure, we got those guys locked and loaded, and yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, Jaivion, Ivan, and Trevor.
Thank you, man.